Chris Burkhardt here with you. Oh boy, let's hope we have some fun today. Get this game out of the way and get ready for some stuffing and turkey because tomorrow's going to be fun. I know you're all going to be out there eating, just filling your mouths full of some great food. It is that time of year, right? This is where you start getting the free pass. From now until Christmas, diets can go on the back burner. You can start back over on January 1st. That's okay with me. I won't tell anybody. But this is the last game before Thanksgiving for your Trailblazers as they head on the road, wrap up this road trip with a stop in Indianapolis. This is Blazers Game Day. I'm your host, Chris Burkhardt. You can follow me on social at Chris J. Burkhardt. You can also go to youtube.com and get in on the action there, get on the chat. As long as you're safely at home, if you're listening in the radio, driving to wherever you're going to for Thanksgiving, Godspeed out there because traffic is already kind of nasty. Like I called Shacker on my way, and I'm like, yeah, I might be just a few minutes behind schedule. Traffic's a little bit worse going towards Tiger than I thought it would be, but we got here. So get out there, drive safe, get where you're going. Hopefully, you enjoy the game show or the pregame show and the Blazer game. And of course, the Blazers, they get to go and take on the Pacers. And it's going to be a tough go because this Blazers team is all of a sudden very, 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 very. I wanted to add one more in there just to make sure you knew. Injured at this point. They are all over the place after that game just a couple nights ago in Memphis. Now, this is your lineup that is out, OUT out tonight in Indy. Donovan Clingan is out. He'll be out for 2 weeks after he has got a sprained MCL. He'll be reevaluated in 2 weeks. Not good because he had been on an absolute tear. Matisse Thybulle is out. The bad news there is he was out with right knee maintenance as he was dealing with that knee injury throughout the offseason. Now, as he ramped up and was getting ready to go, he injured his ankle. He has an ankle sprain. He'll be out for a few more weeks. And then Robert Williams is in concussion protocol because he suffered a concussion in that loss to Memphis, which we will get to here in just a second. Jeremy Grant has a left knee sprain as well. He is doubtful. And at the last update, DeAndre Ayton, Scoot Henderson, and Chris Murray all questionable, as is Bryce McGowan, who is on a two-way, right? But Murray out with a sternum bruise. Henderson has a back strain that he suffered in a little fender bender in an Uber there in Houston. And then Ayton has that right index finger contusion. So now the lineup it's hurting. It's hurting. You can go down the list. Out, Clingan, Thybulle, Williams, doubtful, Grant, questionable, Ayton, Henderson, Murray. If you don't count McCowan, who's on a two-way, that's still 7 players on the injured list right now. So things are not going well for your Blazers unless you are in full on, tank and capture the flag mode, right? Because that's what we're at. My wife's yelling at me, by the way. She says, I hope my clients, she's a personal trainer, right? Well, she's a many things. She's doing real estate and she's doing personal training. And she says, I hope that my clients aren't listening to you. Diets can go away. Yeah, I said that. And that helps you at the end because then everyone starts back up January 1st. And they're like, oh man, I had way too much pumpkin pie over the break. Should have put down that last gingerbread cookie, but I just couldn't say no. The honey baked ham, I had 3 servings of it. Yep, I had to put an extra notch on my belt. I got to go find a personal trainer. So the diet's going away for 3 weeks will benefit you in the long run, babe. I promise. I promise. You know this. You've been doing this for a while. All right, let's look at this Memphis game, though, because the Blazers, the Grizzlies seem to have their number right now. The Blazers cannot shoot the ball from beyond the arc when they play the Grizzlies right now. They went, as a team, the Blazers, 8 of 46 in this 123-98 loss to the Grizzlies. And you couple that with the performance they had last time they played, where they were 4 of 42, which was also terrible. Quick math tells you that they are a combined 12 of 88 in their 2 games against the Memphis Grizzlies this year from beyond the arc. That is unreal stuff. Absolutely unreal. And I get you're playing from behind a little bit here, but you weren't really too far behind until that second half. But you got to figure something out here. And sometimes They say if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Well, if it's busted, go buy a new one. Don't even try to fix it, right? Because the offense from beyond the arc was busted. And you can't even argue that you need the three-pointer to win in today's NBA because it's so three-point centric. You were 8 of 46. Memphis was 12 of 28. So they took 20 fewer three-pointers. They made 4 more than you. They made a killing in their two-point shots and getting shots at the rim, and they were still able to win by 25 points. They were able to win by 25 points. They were just plus 12 in a point differential on you from beyond the arc. Right? So you can't even really argue that oh yeah, the three-pointers, you got to have them. If the three-pointer ain't falling, you got to adjust. You got to find ways to get baskets at the rim. You got to stop picking and popping. You got to pick and you got to run to the rim. And you still had Shaden Sharp, who was healthy in this one. You had Ant, who had an off game. He was 2 of 14 for just 5 points. And again, 2 of 14, 7 of those 14 attempts were from beyond the arc. Tumani Kamara is not even known as a three-point shooter. He was 4 of 15. 8 of those 15 attempts were from beyond the arc. So when the three-pointer ain't falling, I think you gotta be smart here. You got to adjust the settings and figure something out. Delano Banton, he's not a knockdown three-point shooter. He was 4 of 10 on the night. 7 of those 10 attempts were from beyond the arc. It was not working. And so you got to be smart in my book and figure out something and how you can get that offense to run and do it effectively and just get away from the three-point shot. Tony chimes in. He's calling me Bad News Burkhardt. I mean, if the boot fits, I come in and I drop an injury report on you. Yeah, that's not good news. Now, let's take a look at that box score, though. Tumani Kamara, he did have 10 points. There was 11 points from Jeremy Grant in just 20 minutes before he hurt that knee. 6 points from Robert Williams. He played just 12 minutes before suffering that concussion. Anthony Simons, the real outlier there. That is a guy who has tried to put himself in there and cement himself as your team's number one option, your go-to scorer. He had just 5 points on 2 of 14 shooting. 15 points from Shaden Sharp on, again, 4 of 12. So not a great night all around. I mean, the team shot 34 of 102. Like, they lost this game by 25 points to Memphis, despite the fact that they took 15 more shots than Memphis. Memphis was 43 of 87. Fewer shots, more efficiency. Again, the three-point shot ain't falling. Find your efficient shots. Find ways to make them. Find ways to get buckets. 17 points from Denny Avdia to lead all Trailblazers in scoring in this one. And he deserves a ton of credit, man. You could tell by about midway through that fourth quarter, he was gassed. And I mean gassed. He was putting it all out there, all on the line. And his stat line was a very Denny Avdia stat line. 17 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists, and a steal and a block shot. And I think you can get behind that. I love that stat line. It's just there was no other stat line around him to even help him in this case. And he kind of tried to put the team on his back, but it just wasn't going to happen. Delano Banton, he had 24 minutes of action, 11 points to go with it. 9 points each from Jabari Walker and Ryan Rupert. And Walker was kind of my co-MVP in this one. Yes, he only had 9 points and 6 rebounds, but when you don't have Donovan Clingan as a late scratch, you don't have DeAndre Ayton who didn't play, Robert Williams gets the start and then gets a concussion, and all of a sudden you're thrown into that lineup. I thought he was very effective in the minutes he did play. Taking a look at Memphis, Jaren Jackson Jr. had 21 points, 5 points from Jalen Wells, 11 points and 9 rebounds from Brandon Clark, 22 points from a returning Ja Morant, 13 points from Senti Aldama off the bench, and 11 from Luke Kennard. Also, Jay Huff chipped in 12 and a single blocked shot as well. I think the story, though, Ja Morant, I mean, he was back, which was good, and he was churning, man. And when he is going down full force, full speed, going down the court, A, he's hard to stop, but B, the Memphis offense is just, they're kind of a little bit of a juggernaut, man, because Ja Morant makes a ton of flashy plays with the dunks, right? We've seen the highlights all the time. And there was dunks in this one that made the highlight reel, but the passes in this one, they were crisp. And there were a lot of behind the back passes, no look passes. And it was just the full on Ja Morant show as he ended the night with 11 assists. And again, just 2 turnovers. So great assist to turnover ratio. And then NBA favorite Yuki Kawamura even got in this game. Didn't score a bucket, but man, Yuki doesn't get in a lot. And now he's got 2 games against the Blazers. and he's been in both times. Not great if you're the Portland Trailblazers. But no, it's just a bad game, man. Memphis, they can't match up with them. And then when you take their health status, all these guys hurt right now, absolutely brutal. And keep in mind, with going back to Yuki for a second, he's only played in 10 games this year. That means 20% of the games he's played has come against the Portland Trailblazers. But again, we'll get an updated injury report hopefully before the end of the show. Last time it came out like right after we went off air. But we'll see if Grant's a go. We'll see if Ayton or Henderson and Murray get upgraded or downgraded from questionable to out. But either way, it's just going to be another rough go for the Portland Trailblazers as they take on the Indiana Pacers in Indianapolis to end this road trip. This is a road trip that wasn't going to be easy. We said that from the get. I mean, it saw them make a stop in OKC, 2 games in Houston, that game at Memphis, and now here. And they were able to get one of those 2 in Houston. But man, now that you look at just the injury report and the fact that, Dwop Reese probably going to get run, I look at that. I said this as it was happening to Brendan Slaughter, who was producing for us that day. I was like, yeah, your game only went one of 2 ways, and it wasn't the good way when Taze Moore and Justin Minaya get run. And that is no disrespect to them. I mean, those are just 2 two-way guys who are there right now as the team is hurt. They're just end of the bench. And when they're getting run, that means you're going as far deep as your depth chart will go. And that's going to produce rough basketball games. So hopefully maybe they can get something going tonight. I mean, if the shots fall, then they're going to stand a puncher's chance, right? But they cannot afford at all to have an off shooting night until this team is healthy, because when defensively, this team has been really good this year. I don't think anyone would argue otherwise. But when you don't have Donovan Clingan, who's been one of your best defenders, you don't have Robert Williams, who is an absolute stud defender, right? You don't have Scoot Henderson, who has been a better on-ball defender than advertised this year. I think defensively, he's been pretty good. You don't have Chris Murray, who's been good when he comes in on the defensive side of the ball. You obviously don't have Matisse Thybulle, who is an all-NBA defensive player, right? Jeremy Grant, who that 3-game win streak, a lot of that was on the back of him all of a sudden deciding defense was his calling card and playing well. You're missing some key guys. Not going to be easy. Not going to be easy to get stopped. So you can't afford to have the poor shooting night. You got to have the shots fall. It is a make or miss league, as they say, and the only way the Blazers stand a chance to win is make, because defensively they're missing a lot of bodies, and they got to figure that out. They got to find ways to get Ant going, because you can't have games where Ant's scoring 5 points. You just can't have that. You cannot have that. Not a single Blazer player over 20. Ant struggled. It's a rough go if you're the Portland Trailblazers. On the plus side, they play this game, get a little bit of a Thanksgiving break, right? Come home, relax, and then they're back at home, get some of that home cooking on Friday. But we'll take a quick break here on Blazers Game Day. When we come back, we'll head down to the coach's corner. We'll hear what Chauncey Billups had to say following that 123-98 loss to the Grizzlies, and continue to get you ready for the Pacers right here on your home, the Blazers. Rip City Radio 620. Welcome back into Blazers game day. Time now for the Coach's Corner. Let's head back to Memphis just a few nights ago to hear what Coach Billups had to say following that loss to the Grizzlies.
This was one that you would not say there was a lack of energy or effort.
No.
Man down,
Yeah, I mean, shoot, that's a good team we played against, and they played well. We just, at the end of the day, didn't have enough bodies. I thought we did a pretty good job in the first half of just hanging in. We hung in there. That's a scrappy team. We only had 3 turnovers at the half. We hung in, couldn't make shots, but you get them credit. They came out and took advantage of us, and then guys started going down for us, and, it was just uphill.
You mentioned guys going down. You're already down a number, and then you got Jeremy and Rob, and then the guys who were out there, though, giving it all they had. At one point,
Yeah.
Denny was on the ground. He went over to the bench and put his head down. Fatigue, he had to play a role there tonight.
Well, sure. It definitely did. And the guys that played, they gave it their all, and that's all you can ask. They fought as hard as they could. They played as smart and as good as we could tonight. Just didn't have enough. It was just pretty simple.
What did you think about Jabari and his minutes?
Yeah, I thought he did a good job with his minutes tonight. He took advantage of it. He was ready. He was ready to go. He had to come in there and play really kind of small ball 5, which, is not always easy, but he came in there and he did what Jabari does. He just scraps his butt off, and you always trust his competitive fire, will shine in any game that he plays.
Obviously, he missed 8 games, comes back, is energized. Talking about Ja Morant, was there not much that could be done against a performance like that?
Well, he had an incredible first half, obviously, fresh legs, and you could tell that he was excited to be back, and he's the straw that stirs the drink here. He really is. He's one of those guys, he's a tough cover, because he's so elusive. He has a really high basketball IQ. He's making every pass, that's available out there. He can finish at the basket. He made his threes today. So he gave them a shot in the arm that they needed. He was really good.
I know you said you believed and you did go small a lot tonight. Was it an example of something that you would like to have seen, or did you just kind of have to do something like that tonight?
Brooke, we had no choice.
Yeah, correct. Okay.
We had no choice. We got some our big guys, our centers, and everybody was kind of out, so we really had no choice. Even when our big guys are around, I'm confident in going that way, but just had no choice tonight.
Yeah, that's right. Had no choice to go big. He had to go small because, again, Robert Williams got the start. He was hurt. Donovan Clingan was hurt. DeAndre Ayton was hurt. So there you go. There's your depth at center. The only guy you got is Dwap Reith. And, yeah, he's playing center for you and spaces the floor, but he's not your big typical 7-footer. He's about 6'8", 6'9" in reality, right? So tough night for the Blazers. And now, as Chauncey said, Timmy says if you're not wearing a Metallica shirt, I'm gonna be angry. I wore one for you the other day, Timmy. I'm wearing a baseballism shirt today, not Metallica. I'll wear one next time. I'll go. I'll ride the Lightning and Justice for All, Master of Puppets. I'll grab one of them for you for the next show. Okay. I don't want people to be mad at me. I want you to be happy. I also need some more Metallica shirts. Christmas is coming up. You guys send them to the studio. I'll wear them. Now, Coach Billups talked about Ja Morant. He said he had a heck of a first half, and maybe he laid off the gas a little bit, or maybe it was the Blazers' defense. Maybe it was a little bit of both. I don't know. But Ja Morant had 20 points in the first half, just 2 in the second. So that first half, he was just running on all cylinders. He also had 6 assists in that first half, meaning 5 of his 11 assists came in that second half. So he was still finding a way to be impactful. He didn't need to score. I think a lot of that was a little bit more of, okay, let's distribute the ball a little bit here. I don't need to take over. We're in a comfortable spot. Let's just go through our sets. That's why Jaren Jackson had 15 points in the second half, right? There was a good distribution. Yuki was the only player who did not score for the Grizzlies in that second half. So Conchar, Pippen Jr., Marcus Smart, everyone was chipping in. So it was a good balanced performance from them when Ja wasn't taking over. So it is interesting, though, because, Coach Billups said, hey, that's a scrappy team right there. That's a scrappy team. Well, He's also described his team as scrappy. And if that's the case, we need to find new descriptors because those two teams are definitely not created equal. Those two teams are a much different force when you play them. And if the Blazers are scrappy, then I would the Blaze or the Grizzlies are definitely they're grinders. They're that grind city team, right? And they're going to punish you. They're going to be physical, and you just can't keep up. And you did watch this game. I mean, you can use excuses all you want. The injury bug is definitely one of them. But the team just got tired, man, and you could tell it. I mean, even Denny, why do you can see why does he get tired? You know, he plays 30 minutes or whatever, and he can do that. There's no problem. Yeah, but a lot of those minutes just because of health. I mean, he's playing them, and he's got to go against Jaren Jackson Jr. for half of that. Like that's going to wear anybody out, right? So the injury bug is what it is, and now the Blazers have to find a way to get right and maybe get a dub against the Pacers. Luckily, for the Blazers, the Pacers aren't great. Okay, they're not bad, but they're not great. They're not as good as I think people thought they were going to be at this point in the season. They are under 500. They're 8-10, right? And so you have the Blazers who are 7-11. So they're right there record wise with the Blazers, but they've won 2 in a row. Maybe they're starting to find their groove just a little bit. And so is that a good thing for the Blazers? You come in, take a team that's, again, they're not great. So maybe you take advantage of that as they're still trying to find themselves. But also, if you're the Pacers who have won 2 in a row and maybe you're starting to find yourself, maybe meeting up against the Blazers is exactly what you need because it's your get right, so to speak. You find yourself, as callers mentioned the other night when during the fifth quarter, like, what is it about Portland where stars and teams just kind of find who they are, right? Now you look at the Pacers; they are 3-2 in their, 2-3 in their last 5. They're 3-3 in their last 6. They got a win over Miami, a win over Washington, who's not good, a win over the Pelicans, who are not good, right? So, but they also have a win over there earlier in the season against the Celtics, who are really good. So it kind of depends what kind of Pacers team is going to show up. You take a look at the game they had just a last matchup against the Pelicans. It was a 114-110 victory for them. And again, the Pelicans are a team that is about as injury decimated as you can be, right up there with the Blazers, right? With Zion being hurt and Brandon Ingram and all this, they get Alfred Payton and they sign him and he comes in, he gets 20 assists 21 assists in that game. And he hasn't played in a year, right? And he's still shaking off the rust. And so that team is just trying to patchwork it together. And the Pacers took advantage of that. Pascal Siakam had 14 points. Miles Turner had 17 points, 9 boards, 34 points from Tyrese Halliburton. Ben Mathurin had 12 points. Quentin Jackson had 12. Every single Pacers starter in double digits, right? Obi Toppin had 7 off the bench, as did TJ McConnell. Blazers legend Moses Brown, he played 10 minutes. He had 6 points. And you look at that Pacers team, and it's okay, just that starting lineup, right? Like Ben Mathurin, I like a lot. Tyrese Halliburton's really darn good. Miles Turner, Pascal Siakam, like there's talent there. So you can't just walk into Indy and hope things just get right? You absolutely can't do that at all. Jason chiming in on Shacker's use of Bad News Brown over here says, fun fact, Undertaker was a replacement for Bad News Brown in the 1990 Survivor Series when Taker made his debut. Well, there you go. There you go. The $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase and Brother Love, and The Undertaker. At least he wasn't the gobbledygooker, right? Like, The Undertaker. What a legend. What a legend. How that man made that character stay popular as long as it did. Like he went with the biker gimmick, right? The American BA. And it worked for a minute, but everyone just wanted old school Taker back. And then in a year where everything was about being serious and real, this fake character still won us over. Undertaker, he's a goat. Bad News Brown, though. There you go. There's your trivia for the night, courtesy of Jason in our YouTube chat. If you want to get in on the YouTube chat, you know what to do. Go to youtube.com. Type in Riv City Radio. We'll pop up right there. Like, share, subscribe. Tell your friends. Hector Guerrero had to sit in the turkey soup for hours in that egg. That poor man. Oh, man. Oh, now we're getting into wrestling GOAT debates. We'll carry that on in the next segment when we return here on your home of the Blazers, Rip City Radio, 620. Welcome back into Blazers Game Day. Chris Burkhardt here with you. Time now for our Coors Cold Hard Facts. And the fact is, buckle up. Enjoy Thanksgiving tomorrow. Enjoy home cooking. I don't know who's the cook. Is it grandma? Is it mom? Is it your wife? I know my wife doesn't have to do Thanksgiving cooking because she's got her side and my side do it. But if it were my wife, it'd be one hell of a Thanksgiving. She's a good cook. Gonna get some good food. We're gonna do the 2-house thing. Gonna go to my family's, her family's. We each get our comfort foods, right? So it's gonna be a good day. Good day. But you gotta enjoy that because outside of that, it's gonna be rough. It's going to be rough if you're a Blazer fan because the injuries, they are piling up. Now, we do have an updated report from the Trailblazers. Now, this was tweeted, let's see, timestamp on that was just about 10 minutes ago. And it is not anything new. It is still the same injury report. Donovan Clingan out, Matisse Thybulle out, Robert Williams III out. Grant doubtful, Ayton, Henderson, Murray, and McGowan all questionable. So, that's my cold hard fact of why it's going to be rough is because the injury bug is here. It is in full force. As I messaged the other day, somebody call Orkin because the injury bug is here. There is an infestation. We need to fix it. We need the cleansing, right? We need a bug bomb. We need to do something because this is rough. And quite frankly, I'm gonna just be completely honest with you. As bad as it sounds, I hope these injuries are legit because I really hope we're not doing this fake injury tank stuff in November. In fact, I hope we're not doing that ever. I don't like it. I hate tanking. I hate the idea of not putting your best foot forward for the prospect of what might happen. Okay. Oh, Cooper Flagg, he's a can't miss prospect. He's generational. Well, guess what? Just by definition, you can't have a generational talent every single draft. You have a generational talent once a generation. So what? Once every 20 years, right? Every 10 years, whatever generation is. Not every year. It's not how that works. Now, do I like Cooper Flagg? Yep. I think Cooper Flagg's pretty good. Capture the flag. Sounds fun to me. It's good easy to get behind, right? But I've never, ever, 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 ever liked the idea of tanking. Ever. I just don't. I don't know how being bad on purpose can make you better. I think it can work. You can trust the process or whatever. Maybe you get some good picks and whatnot. But I just don't like what it can do for you negatively. So I really hope they're not doing that right now. Now, if these injuries are legit, which I do assume they are, I hope they all get better soon because I like watching good basketball. And basketball is better when Donovan Clingan is on the floor and Robert Williams is playing. And I still want to get Matisse Thybulle out there because I enjoy watching him. Jeremy Grant, I loved the trade when they got him. I loved him in Detroit. I liked him. OKC, Denver. I like Jeremy Grant. I like good basketball. So I want these guys to get healthy. But you got to keep in mind some of these injuries, concussion protocol, that could be a week. Donovan Clingan is out for at least 2. Thybulle, I think, is like a 3 to 6 window because of his bad ankle sprain. It might get worse before it gets better. Oh, excuse me. Burp on air. That was very good of me. But it's going to be rough. And that's just unfortunate. So you get the schedule here. You got the Blazers who they get the Pacers tonight. It's going to end the road trip. Then they come back home on Friday. They get the Kings. Maybe things can come up because the Kings aren't playing basketball that they thought they'd be playing at this point. That's for sure. They're struggling a little bit. But then the Blazers have Dallas on Sunday, at the Clippers on Tuesday. There's a fun game because that's a team that they got a steal earlier in LA. Utah, the Lakers, Denver, at San Antonio, at Dallas, Utah, Dallas, 76ers to round out December. And I think you might even have another cup game in there somewhere. So it's just, that's games on games on games, a day off, 2 days off, day off. It's brutal. It's brutal. And the injuries bugs just makes it not great. All right, if you want to join the conversation, Chris J. Burkhardt on social is the way to do it. Go to youtube.com, type in Rip City Radio. If you really want to, you can also dial 503-248-0620. Get in on the phone. 503-248-0620. On the YouTube chat, though, Timmy's going to come out and say it. Chris looks like a skinny Mick Foley. No, I have both my ears. So no, I'm not a Mick Foley. Mick Foley's much better looking than I am. Rip City Radio. That was not me, by the way. I look like a stronger Scott Steiner. Okay, I'll take that. Travis looks like Cody Rhodes. I like where we're going there. Maybe we can get him some bleach blonde hair. Chad looks like the Brooklyn Brawler. Yeah, he dresses like him. Just put a hole in one of those Dodger shirts he always wears, and it would make sense. Granted, you know, he always wore a New York shirt, but Brooklyn Dodgers. I mean, come on, I know my wrestling. I know the Brooklyn Brawler. But no, I don't see Mick Foley. You guys can say it all you want, but no. Now I got to think about what wrestler I do look like. It's easy to say Foley. I am a little rotund nowadays, just like good old Mick. But shout out to guys like Mick Foley, because there ain't no way in hell I'm letting anyone willingly throw me off of a cell. That's pretty wild. That's it. Come into Blazers Game Day, where you get great wrestling talk. I always like to go off the rails. The hurricane, okay? Watch out. There's a hurricane coming through. Stand back, baby. Camera's not doing it justice. It here on YouTube, the camera it whitewashes me a little bit. I always feel I'm feeling oozy over here, right? Feeling oozy. Like I'm a part of the bloodline. I think that makes way more sense. Then eventually I'm gonna shave the beard off. I'm gonna grow old. I'm gonna look more Paul Heyman-y. That's all right too. All right, if you guys want to get on the conversation and tell me what wrestler I look like, apparently YouTube is the way to do it. And again, that was our Coors cold hard fact is, man, these injury bugs, it sucks. It sucks. We're out here talking wrestling. Those guys go all the time. They don't get days off. Blazers, they play 5 minutes. The next thing you know, they're on the IR. It's just brutal. And I don't know if any injury right now hurts more than Donovan Clingan, man. He was playing so well. And then to go out there and injure the knee, and now he's going to miss 2 weeks with the way he was playing. That one hurts a lot. Absolutely hurts a lot. So you hope these guys can get better. You hope they can get well soon, and you can hope that the Blazers can get back and get the best version of themselves, because regardless of the win-loss record, that little 3-game spurt they had, that was fun basketball. That was fun basketball. You all know it was. And I think they can play like that more often. Maybe not get the wins, but they can play that fun brand. And right now it's just not a fun brand because these guys are tired. They're injured. They're trying to figure it out. There's no bigs. Got guys playing out of position. So it's going to be rough and probably going to get worse before it gets better. That's why regardless of what happens tonight, y'all sit down with family tomorrow. Enjoy Thanksgiving. Just relax a little bit. Get your mind off Blazer basketball. Get your mind off football. Get your mind off everything. Enjoy it, because Thanksgiving is what it's about. Giving thanks, sitting with the fam, talking shop. Politics are off the table, though. That's rule 1 of Thanksgiving. Rule 1 of Thanksgiving. All right, we're going to take a quick break here. When we come back, though, I'm going to give you my keys to the game. I'm going to tell you what I think the Blazers need to do to get I'm going to call it. It'd be an upset win over the Pacers with the way that the Blazers are injury-riddled. Can they get it done? I'll let you know if they can when we return here on your home of the Blazers, Rip City Radio 620. Timmy in the YouTube chat says Blazers are going to need to Eddie Guerrero this game to win the night. And now I can all I can envision is Shaden Sharp slapping himself in the arm to make a real loud slap sound and then falling to the ground and then pointing it like Ben Matherin or something. Like it was him. Like Eddie Guerrero used to slam the chair on the mat and then fall down, pretend like he got hit. You lie, you cheat, you steal. Is that what the Blazers have to do? I can see it. I love when the chat just dives into wrestling talk. You guys are the best. Of course, my wife said I can't grow old and do a Paul Heyman. I have to keep the beard. That's okay. My hair is tied back right now too. So if I had it laid down, you guys would probably say I looked more like a bearded Haku, because that would make a lot of sense too. All right, we're going to look, though, at what the Blazers need to do to win this game against the Pacers, and it's going to be rough. It's absolutely going to be rough with basically half the team out right now, and it's not going to be easy. But there will be ways. I think, obviously, you got to get the three-point shot to fall if you're going to continue to take it, and it does look like the Blazers are going to continue to take it, but they currently fourth worst in the league in makes per game, right? And so you got to figure out a way to get that going, because that is not a recipe to win when that's all you're going to do. I mean, the Blazers took 46 attempts from beyond the arc in that loss against Memphis. If the shot's not falling, find ways to get to the basket and take some more effective, more high efficient shots just to see the ball fall. But if you are going to lean on that 3-point shot, get open looks and you got to hit them. That's pretty much key if you're the Trailblazers. Secondly, I think the Blazers need to find a way to be aggressive on the glass. The Pacers, not a great rebounding team, but at the same time, the Blazers are without Klingon. They're without Robert. The DeAndre Ayton is questionable. Like, they could be missing some of those key guys. And if that's the case, then Indiana's going to find a way to clean the glass, and the Blazers just cannot let that happen. You look at that game against Memphis. Memphis out-rebounded the Blazers 60-44. And if Blazers don't have a lot of that size, they're going to have to work extra hard so that they don't get beat on the offensive glass and lead to easy second chance points for the Pacers. That's key as well. Also, I think, as always, with this Blazer team, you got to find ways to limit those turnovers. Blazers currently second in the league right now in turnovers per game at 17.3. So you cannot let that thing come up and bite you, because it will lead to easy Pacer points. They'll find ways to get out there. Currently, the Pacers do average 8.4 steals, which is about middle of the road, about 12th, 13th in the league. So they'll find ways to force those turnovers, absolutely. And you just got to find ways to keep even keel. It's going to be rough. I think you got to find ways to maybe get Denny Avdia and get those guys rest so they aren't so gassed late. Because as Coach Billups said, they played well in the first half, and they did. They kept it a lot closer than they did the first go-around against that team. But then when they ran out of gas and the wheels fell off, it fell apart quickly. And they can't let that happen tonight in this one. Jason says, I think the Blazers and Pacers, when I think of the Blazers and Pacers, the first thing that comes up is, boy, did Portland blow it with Jermaine O'Neal. Hey, you got a good run out of Dale Davis. I like Dale Davis. But also, yes, they blew it with Jermaine O'Neal on that trade, which is why I think to this day, lifelong Blazer fans are very, very hesitant to trade anybody for the fear that they might become a Jermaine O'Neal. So, and also, Timmy, yeah, it's way easier to ask for forgiveness. So sometimes you just got to do it. Shave the beard, ask for forgiveness. She'll still love me. I know she will. But yeah, Jermaine O'Neal, the scars of a young Jermaine O'Neal still remain. If you remember back when I was a elementary school student at Pleasant Valley High School, though, one of our kids won a contest through Dairy Queen to get a Blazer to come to your school, and the Blazer that came was a young Jermaine O'Neal. I think it might have been his second year in the league. When he showed up, and all of a sudden you get this 7-footer in your in your elementary school gym, and you're like a little 4-foot tall fifth grader. That was pretty amazing. And then he signed autographs and he dunked on the hoop. People had to tell me he did that, though, because we had to leave the assembly early for the district band festival at the high school. I missed it. I did get to see him, though. Didn't get the autograph and see the dunk, but I did get to see him. Jermaine O'Neal was pretty good. Just wore the wrong uniform his whole career. All right, that's going to do it for the pregame show here. But don't go anywhere. Coming up next, Chad Dewing has your